Hey everybody, welcome back to the Journey Podcast. I'm your host, Morgan. We're doing another episode of Rewrite Your Rules. Today we are talking to Rachael. Rachael is a recent college grad and newly engaged. She has big dreams for herself, and we're going to talk a little bit about how she can theme her week so she has more time for herself while she's managing getting her master's degree, planning her wedding, and just enjoying life a little bit more. She's such a high achiever, and I'm really excited for us to get into it today. Make sure you tune into this episode, make sure you leave a review, and make sure you buy my book, Rewrite Your Rules. Hey everyone, I'm Morgan DeBaun, a passionate entrepreneur and life advisor. With the Journey Podcast, you'll discover that success isn't about the destination, it's about the journey. I'm sharing stories of amazing people who've taken control of their lives. Join me on my own journey to discover the secret sauce behind reaching success with permission from no one else. Hey everybody, welcome back to The Journey. We are in our Rewrite the Rules edition, and I am so excited because I have Rachael here today.
Hi.
Welcome to the show, Rachael. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm feeling great. So what made you decide to come on the show today? What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about just how you navigate having a business, how you navigate new transition in your life, like marriage and just a new phase in your life coming out of college, and then also trying to advance and excel in your career. How do you find time to manage everything and just do it all at a time so you can get everything you want and leave nothing behind?
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
That's what life is about. Getting everything you want and leaving nothing behind. I like that. So, well, tell me about where you are right now.
So right now, I just finished my undergrad. I finished last year, so I'm currently working in a role as an accountant, but I'm also in the phase where I'm trying to launch and start up my business. And by the grace of God, I'm also engaged, so I'm also planning a wedding.
Come on, wedding!
But I'm also planning a wedding, so I just feel like oftentimes, like when I get up in the morning, I get confused on what to put my mind on first. Is it work? Is it planning the wedding? Is it making sure that I'm getting all the credits that I need for my CPA? How do you find time to center one thing, focus on something, give it the attention that it needs, and then move on to the next without feeling guilty that you're not focusing on the other?
Yeah, it's the question of life, right? How do you pace your life? There's a chapter in the book literally called How to Pace Your Life, because life is seasons, right? Like there's going to be seasons where you're like working really hard and you're focused on your career, you're focused on school, and then you need a break.
Yeah.
And you might be focused on dating, be in a season of being a wife, being a potential mother, right? And that's a different season. Those are different things are required of you. Different people are required around you.
Yeah.
You know, and then you come out of that. And then there's a new season, right? Or people who are in transitions between career and school. That's a big transition. So first thing is to just acknowledge that everything is a season and nothing has to be forever.
Yeah.
And everything doesn't have to be done at the same time. You can pace your life. You can literally decide, hey, for this next 6 months, like this is my primary focus and I'm making all of my decisions around this center. And you then say, everything that sits in this circle, these are my pillars. We have 6 pillars in the book. These 3 pillars are my pillars that I'm focused on right now. These other pillars exist or matter, like wellness or hobbies, passions. They exist, but they're not my primary focus. So I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to sweat it if I don't have time to go to Pilates. Like, happy to go, but like, oh my God, if I didn't make it, it's okay. Right?
Yeah.
But you are going to sweat the wedding.
Yeah.
Right? You are going to sweat this transition into being a wife. That is important to you. So first is to define those 3 things. And then you start to make decisions from there. So let's start with defining your 3 things.
Yeah.
What do you think they are?
I think my number one would be getting through the wedding, because like that's the most important for me. My biggest accomplishment like that I want is to be a good wife. And I remember when people would ask me like, what do you ultimately, like, what do you want to do? And I'd be like, I just want to be a good wife. And then I think my second thing would be also like making sure my business is set up and knowing exactly what I want for the future in it. Because this is just something I started in college and God just blessed me with it. And then I think the next thing would be like maybe advancing in my career, because I don't see it for the long term. My end goal is education, and that's where I want to be. I want to be either a teacher or some type of something in education. So I think I know that I want the career, but I just know that it's like an end goal thing, not necessarily a noun thing.
Mhm.
And that wedding is like definitely a noun thing.
Yes.
And you have to get through that before you move to the next step, which is like business. Because when you're married, I feel like you have a little bit more structure
Mhm.
instead of, just kind of having everything going on in your head and trying to please everybody, like your parents. But definitely, like, that marriage is like the number one thing that I would say is like, we need to get this like done,
Mhm.
like today.
Why do you feel the need to rush through this phase of engagement?
I wouldn't say necessarily rush through it because we've been engaged for a little bit over a year now.
Okay.
And it's just been a long process. Like, I'm Nigerian,
Mhm.
and there's like 7 steps to getting married, and you do this and then you do this, and it's like one thing and then the other thing, and it's like, okay, at some point it just gets a little bit like,
Let's get married.
yeah. So like, for people who don't have that cultural like background with it, like, weddings are more of like okay, we can plan this in 6 months and get it like,
Mhm.
moving. But it's so many steps to it. And I think like in the midst of it, I got caught up in like trying to please everybody else and not really worrying about what actually will make me happy when it comes to this moment and what do I see this wedding being like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How many steps away are you?
I would say we're about 4 months away because it's in May.
Okay.
So I think that's why it's like now it's just like, yeah, let's get this.
What
show
else
on the
left do you
road.
have to do?
I think right now we're just in the process of making sure that like we get all our vendors.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just been like a tedious thing. And it's shown me a lot about business actually, because you're doing a lot of negotiations, you're sourcing different people, you're looking through like, is this the right fit? Like, even before I hired my wedding planner, we had like...
You have a wedding planner?
Yes,
and
I
we're
do.
so stressed?
I know. It's a destination wedding.
Where are you getting married?
Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it.
The stress, I think, comes necessarily from family, I would
Okay.
say. Just everybody, like, weddings are such a time of, like, it's a lot. And everybody wants something from it.
Yeah.
And you ultimately do want to make your parents proud.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially, like, for me, it's, like, the first in my family.
Mm-hmm.
For my fiance, it's a little bit different because he's had sisters that have been married. So, for them, it's, like, their third go-around.
Yes.
So, they're, like, calm. But, like, for my family, it's just, like, I'm my mom's only child and I'm my dad's first daughter. So it's a lot of firsts for them. And like, they're calling people trying to see what's happening. And they're like, what? Rachel's getting married? Like, how is this happening? So I think it's just a process. And I know that it's going to make everybody ultimately happy. So I've been thinking of everybody's happiness, like, in this whole process. And I think it stresses me out sometimes because I feel like maybe people aren't going to be happy with this decision. Like, I'm having a destination wedding and I'm African. That's like also...
In a non-African country.
Yeah. It's like everybody's wondering, are you Puerto Rican? No, I'm not Puerto Rican. But it's still ultimately what I wanted. I wanted something intimate and I wanted something led by God and I wanted him at the center of it. So sometimes it's hard to please God and man at the same time, and honoring your parents isn't the same as pleasing your parents. So
it sounds like you've already done the self-work and the self-talk to know that you might be putting a lot of pressure on yourself trying to please everyone around you. And you've already accepted that that is impossible.
Yeah.
That everyone will not be happy. And the only people that matter are...
Yeah.
Really, that's the only person that matters.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess, how have you put more opportunities in your life or in your weekly or even daily routine to remind yourself of the only person that matters?
Yeah. So with that, I spend time with God like every day. Or at least I try to make sure that I do. There are times that things get like overwhelming and you may miss it, but like you just have to like make up the next day. But I think like the first thing I do is just like get in my quiet time. Like even before I came like this morning, it's like I was like, okay, it's a lot going on. And like my wedding planner is like, yeah, so we need this and this and this. And I'm like, okay,
everybody wait.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna take a moment and be in God's presence right now and let him guide me. Let him be at the center of this and everything that I'm doing, because like every single year, like I plan my year and I have like a verse of the year. And my verse of the year this year is Matthew 6, verse 33, seek first the kingdom. So I just always have to remind myself that even in the midst of everything and things happening, I have to seek him first. I have to be with him first. I have to like listen to what he's telling me, because I can go and do something that may not be necessarily what he's telling me. And like even with a job, like right now it's like such a busy season for accounting, and it's like work deadlines are like just piling up as it comes. And like there was a time that I was like, what is this? But I was like, you know what? God, I'm doing this for you. And like I had a meeting with my manager, and then like I just see the Bible verse that he was like telling me, and it's like on her wall, and I'm like, wait, wow, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And she probably doesn't even know, like, I was just looking at that. So it's just like making sure he's the center keeps me grounded, because like I do try to please so many people.
What makes all the decisions easy?
Yeah.
When you are really clear about what your center is, that it makes everything else not as relevant. So for me, when I was transitioning into motherhood and going from, boss CEO on a plane every week, I would travel literally 2 cities a week. Like that was it. Especially once Josh and I were good and I was like, cool, I got my man, like I'm good. I can get out of my dating season, because that is a lot of work.
Yeah.
And we're good. I can go back to being a boss. Then when I transitioned to motherhood, my son was my center.
Yeah.
So it was, what is the best for him? And if it's not the best for him and it's going to make him unstable for the week, or he's going to need something and I'm not available, what is the best for him? That made every other decision easy. Can I get to the city and back same day?
Yeah.
Can I get to the city and spend one night there but be back by the time he wakes up in the morning? Cool, I'll do it. If it's going to require me to be away for a prolonged period of time, am I going to be able to breastfeed? Am I going to be able to get the milk back in time? Am I going to be able to do all these things? The answer is no, I'm not going. So when you center whatever or whoever is the most important to you in your decision making, it allows for everything else to become more clear. And then what happens is you have to just create more and more time and reminders to reground you when you get distracted. So let's talk about how your week is set up. Walk me through like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay, so every week is just like, I kind of like take it as it comes. I'm coming out of college, so it's like, that's like just a phase of life. Like you kind of do take things as they come. So I'm trying to like get myself out of that. I'm trying to get like a structure going. Like I know that like on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm working. So it's like I work from home, which is like the biggest blessing ever. And I was going to like ask you about that.
Let's talk about it.
With like your son and everything, like I know you say that like whatever you do is like centered around him. And that's like a phase that like I'm planning on entering soon. So there's also going to be that added factor of children and like planning around them. Do you ever feel guilty like if you can't take an opportunity because of your son?
No, because he's my center.
Yeah.
So it's easy. No guilt. What I feel guilty about is when I feel like, okay, I've slowed down or I slowed down in that season. And then I feel like other people sped up. So I have a habit of comparing myself to others at time. Like, my business is better than theirs. Why are they doing,
And I think,
like it's jealousy.
Yeah.
That's my weakness. But that has nothing to do with the center. Right? So just being clear about it allows you to just work through that emotion and that feeling. Because I would never trade being on a awards list for quality time with my son in his first year of life.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a no-brainer, right? So when the center is right, it's a no-brainer. You just got to work through. It's not to say that you're not going to feel like, oh, maybe I should be doing more, or maybe I should be getting through my CPA credits faster, or maybe I should be doing all this stuff. None of it matters when you have a clear why.
Yeah.
Right? And I think working from home is actually a huge privilege because you have a lot of control over your time. You're not losing a lot of time commuting. And in the book, we actually talk about this, how to theme your weeks.
Yeah.
So, and how to theme your days.
Work?
So basically, you take what your goals are. So for you, you have a few priorities.
Yeah.
You have a wedding.
Yeah.
And that is something that is not going away until May.
Yeah.
So we have some things that just have to get done. Okay. And then you have yourself.
Yeah.
Your personal development. You want to be a good wife, you got to take care of yourself. Right? So you need to make time for yourself. Then you have your, as a couple, time for one another, quality time. And then you have your career.
Yeah.
And you have your business. So we take all those priorities and then we look at the week and say, okay, well, what has to happen?
Yeah.
Well, I have to work 7 hours a day on my job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And because you're remote, you actually have a lot of privilege of doing things like pre-scheduling emails, pre-scheduling Slack messages. Do you guys use Slack or Teams?
We use Teams.
Yeah. So pre-schedule your Teams messages. Yeah. You guys are accountants. You know,
Yeah.
security check. Right. So you actually could probably work less hours during the day and pre-schedule things in the morning or at night, so you have a little bit more flexibility. But if you look at a normal day, what time do you wake up?
I wake up at around 6, sometimes 5, sometimes 8, depending on the day.
Well, 8 is a wide range.
I mean, on Saturdays, like if I have nothing going on Saturdays, I'm going to sleep until 8 because I've been up at 6, 5, like every other day.
And what time are you going to bed?
I'm going to bed. That ranges, like that could be like 11 to...
Oh, it's late.
Yeah, it's late.
Why so late? What are you doing?
Most of the time, I'm just like planning and just like making sure like wedding stuff is together and like business stuff is together because I'm still in like that infant stage where I'm still planning and trying to like create the vision of like what I envision this brand to be and like how we're going to get there. Like just the other night, I was just like buying up all the domains that have to do like with my business. Because I think I listened to a podcast and I don't know if it was you. I think it was you and Fawn Weaver just owning everything that has to do with your business. Like she was talking about she owns the distillery, she owns the land. I was like,
about that.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy up every single thing that has to do with this. So I'm trying to like look into like the trademarks of like that. So before we like are out there and in the public, like I want to make sure that I own everything that has to do with this because I think it would help moving forward. And then like also making sure that like everything that like I'm also spending is also accounted for because I also listen to you and even if it's not like an actual business account, you mentioned just like having an account, even if it's your personal account, just making sure that it's just for the business. So that's something that I definitely took and I'm trying to like make sure I get everything in order before I'm like in the heat of things.
We're going to talk about that in a second. Let's go back to theming your weeks, but let's put that on the back burner.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a couple ways that people can plan their week or their day. So you could plan your week based off of the flow of what needs to happen. So for you, because the wedding is important, on Monday, Tuesday, I might have a 4-hour block that is from 4 to 8. And I say, babe, we're not having dinner together. I'm working through it. Okay. And I'm getting the wedding stuff done. I'm sending out the emails. I'm sending out whatever needs to get done for the week so that other people, the vendors, the wedding planners, everybody else has what they need to be able to work through the rest of the week. And they're not waiting on me. They're not pinging me on Wednesday, Thursday, asking for approvals or asking me for things because I gave everything on Monday. So then Tuesday, no wedding. It's done. You don't need to do anything for the wedding. Wednesday, you don't need to do anything for the wedding. Thursday, I might have another 30-minute or 45-minute block that's like wedding focused so that I can get through anything that's come up Tuesday, Wednesday, and answer any questions or things that have come back up. If you don't already, do you have an email address for your wedding? Or
yes, we do.
You do? Okay, good. No, that's great. A lot of people don't do that. And so they're getting text messages or like they're getting all types of inputs from so many different places. But if you have an inbox or an email address set up for your wedding, then you can have a folder system, right, where everything is over here. So you know you can go up in there. You already have it.
Yeah.
But for the people watching or listening in, they are like, oh my God, right? Like so that you don't have to be constantly reactive to things coming in and everything is organized. Okay, so that you make time on Thursday to be able to do that.
Yes.
And then weddings are also fun. So like you might be like, I want to just spend time on Pinterest or like I just want to dig around on TikTok. That's fun.
Yeah. And it gets a little too fun that you find yourself doing it for 2 hours. And
we got to stop doing that because that's wasting your time. And that is adding to the stress because it's like mental load that you're carrying. You've done it. You've been engaged for over a year. Let TikTok and Pinterest go. It's done. Okay. Unless you just must. But then you just need to know that's like time that could be spent on hobbies or personal development and things like that. But you shouldn't stay up till 11 o'clock because you're scrolling on TikTok. It really needs to be meaningful if you're going to stay up that late because your health is going to be a big driver on if you can wake up in the morning and feel refreshed in order to be able to get things done.
Yeah.
Right? So then on Tuesday and Wednesday, then your second and third priorities take that deep work hour.
Yeah.
That deep work framework of time. So that could be stuff for yourself. That could be stuff for your credits. That could be whatever second pillar that is. What I see most people do is they context switch all the time. So they're doing an hour over here, then they're doing an hour over here, then they're doing an hour over here.
And most people.
Yeah. I think you might be most people, Rachel. And that's okay. We're going to stop doing that because you lose a lot of cognitive ability when you're context switching constantly. And you also lose that moment of being able to be in flow with whatever it is that you're doing to actually finish the task or finish the project that you were setting out to do. Do you feel like you can do this?
Yeah.
What are things that might distract you?
I think the most things that distract me, I wouldn't say nothing really distracts me. It's just my head.
Okay.
I think like most of it is in my head and not thinking and thinking that like, you know, like what's the point of like just trying? Because like I feel like it's like success is like really, really hard to get to. So you get caught up in the like, what if this and what if that, or just like being in your head a lot. Like, because I don't have social media. I think like the most social media I do is LinkedIn, and I have Pinterest. But like I try not to be on it as much. Like if I need to go on Instagram for something for the wedding, like I get on it and then like I delete it right away and delete the app.
That's good. That's great discipline.
That's my word of the year.
Yeah.
But I try to be as disciplined with social media as much as possible. So like most of my like setback really comes from like being in my own head and like you said, comparing yourself to like other people who are like, you know, achieving such great things. Like I have friends who are in their master's programs right now. And like I know that's something I have to do next year. And to me, like sometimes I get like, you know, like you could be doing this and stuff like that. And like,
do you have to do it next year? You have a lot of things that it feels like you feel like you have to do.
Yeah.
Where's that coming from?
I think it would come from like just being me and just feeling like you just have to do everything and it just has to be done. Because like if you don't do it, like who else would do it basically? And like I know that I'm going to be a CPA, so it's like I have to take the classes at some point. So like right now I've spaced out like my prerequisites for the master's program. So like I know I'll be done like with the timeline in my head. I know I'll be done like by the end of this year and I'll be able to apply for the program and start next year. And it's a 9-month like accelerated.
Just of course it's accelerated, Rachel. Yeah. Come on, sis.
So it's like I feel like I have to do that because
but why?
I just don't, because it's like if I don't do it, like
but what do you want to do? Like what if money was of no object? If you were like so rich, you know, we've got a Nigerian prince back here, oil money, what are we talking about? I don't know, I'm making it up. But like, what if we're fine? What if you're super fertile, the babies are going to come, you don't have to stress about it, it'll just happen when it's supposed to happen naturally.
Yeah.
What if you're okay? What would you do? Would you still do all these things?
Probably.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I just feel like I have to do it. I think it's a Nigerian thing. Like in African households, you grow up with like the idea that you have to excel. Like you not excelling is failure. Even if you're just like mediocre or just like regular, it's still failure because it's like, it's not excelling. And then like I went to, and like in school, I went to an HBCU. So it's like Black excellence is like just everywhere. And it's like, I've just been brought up in the place like you just have to excel. And if you're doing nothing, you're not excelling.
You're
like
not doing nothing.
Yeah. It seems like I'm doing a lot, but I feel like I'm not doing enough.
Compared to who?
Compared to the person in my brain that I think I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And where I think I'm supposed to be at, I would say.
What are you noticing as you're saying these things out loud?
I'm really like a little bit of an overachiever. So it's something I'm like working towards and like understanding that you just have to take one step at a time. And one of my professors, like she's so amazing. I'm so close with her. And she's really like just been like, Rachel, you are just always an energizer bunny. Like you are just always moving and always doing something and always like, when do you just like woosah? And I'm like, I don't. I feel like if I'm just resting and not doing anything, which I know it's necessary, I just don't think that like I would get to where I need to get to if I just like take a pause.
When you have kids, are you going to spend time with them?
Yes. And I think maybe that's why I feel like I have to do all these things now, because I know that when they do come, it's not ultimately going to be about me anymore. And I think like one of my biggest like things is regretting like life and like not feeling like you've accomplished like all your goals and all the things that you want to accomplish. And
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
When you're 80 years old, do you think you're going to look back and say, oh, man, I should have taken that accelerator program? Do you think that's really what you're going to say? Should have pushed it 3 more months. Should have rushed the engagement.
No.
What are you going to look back at even 20 years from now and come back and be like, man, what a beautiful life that I've had? What would that look like for you?
I think that would look like an amazing marriage. Like I have an amazing relationship like already. So I just know that like in it transcending into marriage is going to like even be greater and like such a greater bond. So I know that's going to be something that like, and I think that's why I say like that's my number one, because like ultimately having like a good person that's like also God-fearing and like just wants to walk in the path that you want to walk on is great. And then also like creating a great thing for other people to like get knowledge from. My first love was teaching. I always loved all my teachers. I was always a teacher's pet. So my first love was teaching, and I knew like I wanted to be a teacher. I just knew that like a teacher doesn't make like that much money. And I'm still like about the money just a little bit.
That's fine. You're talking to me, so you know I'm already with it. So,
so I was like, how do I find a way to teach and still like impact people, but still kind of like make money from it?
Yeah.
And I think that's when God gave me the idea for my business. And I was doing it in college, and I saw how much people like got from it because I was an RA, and I would have the events and I would just talk about like finance and making sure that you're getting things together for college. And I went to an HBCU and I came out like without so much debt.
Yeah.
And that's not like the same for a lot of people.
No.
And it was like year after year having internships, making sure I'm like applying for scholarships, doing everything that I needed to do. Like my parents didn't pay for college at all. Like that was all me. I handled it by myself. And it was a process. And like people always would like ask me like, how did you do this? And like it was something that I felt passionate and led to like talk to people about like planning your finances and being better with your finances, because especially like for immigrants and just like Black people in general, like finances are not like a conversation that we have in our household. And it's not a conversation I had in my household. So I know that like when I look back 20 years from now, helping people, especially women, be better with their finances is something that I definitely want to do, and like changing people's lives would be like the ultimate thing. And I just feel like sometimes for me to get there, I have to do the accelerated program.
Yeah. What you're telling me is different now from what we were talking about 15 minutes ago. Your pillars are your relationships, your relationship with God, your relationship with your future husband. That's your number one. Then your number two is your passion. It's helping other people. It's impact. How you help other people and how you give impact, you're getting the tools, you're getting the credentials, you're building the business so you can help people. But when you reframe it that your second center is actually impact, then all the other decisions become a little bit easier. Because if you're chasing, there's always going to be another credential. There's always going to be another milestone. There's always going to be another external validation that like our families, our parents, the world says that you need to have to be successful. That will never end, like ever, right? At every step of the world, at every step of your life, momhood, everything. There is some sort of success. When you're a mom, it's how long have you been breastfeeding for? How quickly are you going back to work? Are they sleeping through the night? It's all these questions that they're going to ask you. When it just keeps going. Once you had a baby, are you going to have another one? It never ends. So you have to start practicing for yourself how you quiet that noise of all these expectations and rules from society and really focus on what's the most important to you now.
Yeah.
Instead of living and doing some things for future gratification, you can have it now. And that's why you have your business, actually, because you didn't want to wait. Like a lot of people wouldn't have started a business while in school, Rachael.
Sometimes I just think about that. Like
a lot of people would do that.
Yeah.
You know, but you did it partially because you wanted to help people. So let's talk about the business. How are you finding time for that now?
Well, right now, I just find time where I find time. Like after work, I usually just get on my laptop and I start working on it. I carve out days on Saturdays for sure for it. So like Saturdays, like me and my fiance will go to the library, we'll open up the laptop.
Yeah,
like,
get to it.
Let's try to like get this mapped out and like create what we need to create and do what we need to do. So like that is like being worked on like most of the time. I would say for this year. Last year coming out, like it was like really all over the place because like I wanted to plan it, but then like things happened, life happened. And then like I had the imposter syndrome and feeling like maybe I'm not cut out. Maybe I'm not the one that's supposed to do this business. Maybe somebody else needs to do it. And, you know, just had that feeling of intentional like fear and just not believing in myself enough. But, you know, like getting more confirmation from God has definitely helped me. Like, no, He gave you the idea and you're going to execute it. And I think what has helped me plan is just finding little times. Like if I want to find myself doing something else, no, I could be spending time doing this or spending time working on this, even if it's like I have like a podcast, I'm listening to a podcast while I'm doing it, so I make it fun as well.
What is the work that has to get done?
So like right now, we're trying to create our website. When I first started, I had like a partner and that was like a whole process and it was supposed to be like, you know, because I had like a vision and you want it so perfect like the first time and like we just went through like this process of like trying to code the whole website from scratch. I do not have a tech background. I don't know why I ever thought that was a thing. So like we went through that. So right now we're working on like a regular website that I can actually, I can actually use, I can function. And like my fiance has been like a really big help because he has a tech background. So like he kind of like knows what to do in regards to that. And like also like planning like the brand vision and like all of those things.
It's a lot of planning.
Yeah.
Where are we making money?
That's a process. And I know that like it's not going to start exactly right now and just trying to figure out like what services am I offering exactly, especially without the credentials. Like you don't have the CPA yet. So can you offer that like that planning that you essentially want to do and like where can you put yourself right now where you can start making money from this? And it's something that like I've been like trying to like wrap my head around like what services can we offer. So like right now I'm creating like a whole bunch of resources that I can put on the website so that like, you know, even if some are free, some will be paid for. So just having that caveat of like, I may not have the credentials right now, but let me create something that could bring in some type of income to help this grow while I still work on getting the credentials that I need to make it what I essentially envision it to be. Because you have to start from somewhere. And that's what I'm just telling myself, like just start from somewhere. Even if you're selling like ebooks for like
that's fine.
$5 or creating like, creating templates that people can use, like it's still something. So that's where I'm at right now, just creating those, like just putting myself out there.
I feel like you're spending a lot of time buying domain names, building a website from scratch, probably building logos and brand colors and all this stuff. Nobody cares. What's the product?
Yeah.
What are we selling?
Financial planning.
Right.
How to be like better with your finances.
Right. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people on the internet that give this advice that have no credentials.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was like, so
why do you think you need one?
Because I felt like
without the disclosure, of course.
Yeah, I hated the people who did it without credentials.
But you're literally in training.
I know. And I think it's like, that's just the part of me that just feels like it has to be right. Like, you can't just go on the internet and just give people financial advice. Like, who's going to listen to you? Get your credentials first. Get your things first. But I'm not
sure. The people who already
sure.
listen to you.
Yeah.
The people who already ask you for advice.
Yeah.
The people you've already been giving advice to.
Mm-hmm.
You're already doing it.
Yeah.
So I think you need a therapist. Do you have a therapist?
God.
God counts.
Mm-hmm.
Can we get another one?
Okay.
I think you need to work on this like desire for everything to be 100% before you take an action.
Yeah.
And it's coming from your upbringing. It's coming from cultural things. It's coming from all types of places that need to be talked about.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, you're already incredible.
Yeah.
So this constant need to have everything 100% is going to literally cause you to burn out.
Yeah.
You've got a long life to live and a long career to have, and you're already incredibly successful and incredibly intelligent. You're already in the top like 5% of Black people in this country. It may not seem like it. It may not seem like it, but to be college educated, to be pursuing and eventually getting a master's degree, to be soon to be wed, you're already up here. You're in a major city, right? Like, you're very successful, but you don't feel like it. And that's an internal thing. Yes, God is going to be able to help you with it, but there are other people who can also help you with it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're going to constantly be living for other people's expectations of what you think you should be doing. And over time, it will burn you out.
Yeah.
And there's no more grades. Like, you're almost done with grades forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
And I think that's very scary for me, because it's like there's no
rating.
Actual rating that like you're like, here, look at that and tell me what you think. And I think sometimes I do struggle with like asking people what they think and like making sure like people like it. And
who cares what they think? We don't care anymore. Very soon, it doesn't matter. But this is what I'm telling you is a normal thing that almost every high achieving like college student has to make that transition. Yeah. And a lot of people go into big careers and big tech company jobs or consulting jobs or Wall Street or work at the big 4 accounting firms, and they just trade a college title and college classes and professors for their boss.
And then you see, that's the thing. And I felt like I didn't do that because like coming out of school, like I was supposed to go to Deloitte. I was supposed to move back to Los Angeles.
Of course, yeah.
And I was like, I don't think that is
I didn't even know that, but I'm not surprised to hear that.
So I was like, I don't think that's where God wants me. And I don't think that that's the life that like he planned for me. So I'm just like, okay, just go after what you want, but then still being caught up in like going after what you want and just like
you're still holding on to this like this what you think success looks like for you. Yeah. And what somebody who is like you or who you want to be, what that success means. You have to completely rewrite all of your rules. You have to completely rewrite, like, what does success look like? Success for you could be being a really good wife, which doesn't mean you have to work at Deloitte. You don't care. Right? Yeah. Success for you could be really helping 20, 30 incredible women get out of debt. Yeah. Like, redefine what success means for you and then focus on that and put that at the center. Yeah. And keep it there. And don't worry about what your mom thinks and your dad thinks and all these people think. The only 2 people that matter, 1 and 2. Yeah. And 3. Yeah. You know, what do you think?
I think that's great.
Okay.
I think that's
what
really
actions
great.
or commitments are you going to make for yourself?
I think the number one thing I would commit to definitely just like going back and just asking myself why I need to do certain things and what it ultimately means at the end of it. And, you know, maybe like, because like I've thought of therapy, but the way our culture works,
I know, it's hard.
It's just not a thing that
nobody has to
necessarily do it.
Well, not everybody here who's watching this will know, but they won't be watching this back at home.
They won't.
Yeah, so
hopefully.
We're good.
But
this is not going to make its way to London. It might.
But yeah, just like going back and just like understanding what it is that I want. And then like understanding that where I am is also like a good place as well.
Where you already are is already amazing. Yeah. You're already there. You did it. You did the thing. It's done. They can't take it away from you.
There's still more to do, but
you're already on the path. Like you're already there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can release the like yes, you have to like finish.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to finish. You worked very hard. But once you're finished, it's done.
Yeah.
And if you are more comfortable, you can do a small group, right? Bible study. I mean, there's so many different options. There's so many different resources.
Yeah.
But really trying to surround yourself with people who are happy with where you are already and help you work through what you want and developing that. Your 20s are a beautiful time in life because you don't have all the responsibilities of kids and all this other stuff. Like when you're 30, 40, those things are going to come. Those responsibilities are going to be there.
Yeah.
But this is the time, like the only time in your life where you're not stuck in school. You can literally do whatever you want. If you want to wake up at 2 p.m. and you want to go to sleep at 4 p.m., take a nap in the middle of the day, you can do that. You can't do that when you have kids.
Yeah.
You just can't.
You can't.
So this is it. So I want you to literally do whatever you want. That's actually going to be my challenge for you. It's going to be a 30-day do what I want challenge.
Just got to figure out what I want exactly is.
But it could be really simple.
Yeah.
It could be like, I want to take a walk. I want to listen to music while I get ready today. I want to sing and scream at the top of my lungs. Like that impulsive thought, I want you to give into it more.
Yeah.
So you just have a little bit more of the daily joy that's like grounding you, especially as you're going through a very stressful process with the wedding. Like, you know, that is real. So you just need to find a little bit more time for what does Rachael want today?
Yeah.
What does Rachael want today? While you're doing this, I want you to really try to focus on what you want to do, not what this idealized version of you wants to do.
Yeah.
It can be, I want to sit in the bathtub for 2 hours. It could be weird. It doesn't have to be like cutesy. You know, I want to take an aerial dance class.
Yeah.
I want to go to trap yoga. I don't know. Whatever you want to do, right? And just find more time to do that because part of it is you have to kind of rewire your brain to get out of this like grading system.
Yeah.
And expectations and perfectly planned all the things before you do the thing that matters most, which is make money if you're a business or help the people if you're a business.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Okay. What's like one thing you're like, yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to do?
I think like really getting out of the like ideal version of me and like just tapping into like what's really me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to it. I look forward to you DMing me on Instagram and saying, Morgan, I did this today. And it can't be plan the wedding. And it can't be took this class for the credits. And it can't be bought a domain name.
Yeah.
It has to be something that is uniquely you.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. And I'll tell you whatever I did that day.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Rachael. Thanks for joining the show today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, my friends. That's it for today's episode. We'll check in with Rachael later. I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I'm excited for me too.
You got a long life to live, my friend. You're going to be just fine.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. See you next episode. Thanks for listening to the Journey Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a review and head to our Instagram and YouTube to leave a comment. I look forward to hearing how this podcast has made an impact on your own journey.